Welcome to the Knowledge for Men show. Your life will never be the same.
Your level of success will seldom exceed your level of personal development.
I want to die empty of regret. I want to die empty of my best work. We don't understand who we are. Instead, we're living out somebody else's narrative.
What one man can do, another man can do. If it's been done, it can be done again.
Being yourself and being your truest, most authentic self in every moment. If it scares you or makes you a little afraid, do it. Follow your heart and your gut.
The first stage, I think, is finding you, like finding out who I am today.
Stuff will not work. You will have things that fail. Success is when you're a happy, fulfilled person. How do you define success?
It's your life, and you are the creator of the movie script that is your life story.
Would you want to live the same life over and over again 100 times over? What do you want to make out of your life? Who do you want to be? Look, life is short. You got what you got, and you really have to go for your own. And nothing will change unless you change. Guys, I'm helping men make that change at my intensive retreats in San Diego, California. Go to kfmretreat.com to learn more and be a part of a program that is transforming men's lives into the most powerful version of themselves. Again, that's kfmretreat.com. All right, guys, welcome to the show. I'm here with Michael Matthews for a second time on the Knowledge for Men podcast. Michael is the founder of muscleforlife.com and author of Bigger, Leaner, Stronger, The Simple Science of Building the Ultimate Male Body, among many other best-selling books on Amazon. So, Mike, happy to have you here on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
All right, so we're going to kind of just change things up. Not going to ask, for a favorite success quote or dive into the knowledge round, but what's been new? Like, it's been probably about a year since we last had you on the show. Like, what's been going on? How's Muscle for Life going? How's life?
Well, busy. all I do is work, but that's good because that's what I want to do, and it's paying off, so that's cool. So yeah, Muscle for Life is doing great. It's at about 1.1 million visits a month right now, which is pretty cool because it's only 2 years old. And now that I've met some interesting people in my travels, and those numbers are like, I know a group of guys that took health and fitness website, more health, in the same period from nothing to 6 million uniques a month. What's kind of unique about Muscle for Life is it's really just been, I'm really the only writer. I do allow some guest articles here and there, but not many because, I don't know, I'm just very picky with the quality of information and the type of stuff that I want on the site. And also I want the site to have, I guess you could say, congruency or continuity. But one thing I really didn't like myself about back when I was trying to educate myself in this field, you go and you're reading stuff online, is you go into one website and you could read 10 articles in a row on a subject on that site and get 10 completely contradictory,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Philosophies or approaches. And that's obviously confusing because you just what do? You pick the one that sounds the most logical or the one from the person that seems most authoritative, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the right one, and they might all be wrong. So MFL has been kind of I've written, I don't know, probably 1 million words for it by now, but what you will find is you can go read stuff that I wrote from the very beginning versus stuff I'm talking about now. I haven't changed positions on, especially, of course, there are things that I learn along the way, but there are also the basics that just never change regarding the physiology of fat loss and muscle growth and how to train properly, how to eat properly. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm not very well networked in this space. Like I don't chase after guest posts. I don't really ever guest post. I just kind of write my own stuff and do my own thing. And fortunately, I guess my approach has just resonated with enough people on a personal level that I've been able to grow everything quickly without kind of having to go suck up to a bunch of people and beg them for, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
And beg them for guest whatever.
For exposure. And you write all the articles. I find that really interesting. What does that routine look like for you? How are you so consistent with publishing, your content on a consistent basis over a long period of time?
One thing, I'm a big believer in daily routines. I guess it kind of ties into habits, but my routine there are small variations depending on the days. Like, just for example, on Sunday, usually mornings and nights, I'm writing Monday's MFL article. On Monday nights, I'm writing Tuesday's article. I just launched another blog over at my supplement company, Legion. But in general, there's a quote in this book, Daily Rituals, and basically, to paraphrase it, It was a guy, and he was writing a biography of somebody else. And what he said is like in his experience dealing with all these people, these luminaries in different fields and very successful people, is that he thought there was some secret. He thought he was going to glean some cool insight. And basically, what it boiled down to is he's just like, these people never stop working. They just never lose a step. And he's like joking that it was very discouraging, right? Because, and I guess I can relate to that in that, I mean, my normal day is I'm up at 6:15, get ready for the morning, go work out so I can be at the office no later than 8:30, usually earlier, and work all day. I don't take any breaks. I eat my lunch at my desk, 5 minutes. I work until 6 would be a normal day, go home, take an hour to eat, spend some time with my family, be back on the computer, 7:30 at latest. Have to walk my dogs and stuff as well. And then I work until, I don't know, 10:30, 11 every night. And that's it, every day. I take some time off Saturdays to spend time with my family. And Sundays, I just work all day. And I've been doing that for, I don't know, a couple of years now. That's generally how my day works. But then I'm specific with it where I am working on certain types of projects first thing in the morning. I like to write. I like to write first thing in the morning. Usually I'm here at the office by myself in the earlier, first part of the morning before everyone else arrives. And then I like to write at night for whatever reason. I know some people don't, but I just like it. I'll write anytime. It doesn't matter. I don't use that as an excuse. If I need to write, I need to write.
But it's not the right hour.
yeah. But my preference is I just seem to, I don't know, mentally it kind of flows the easiest, I guess, in those times. And then I spend a couple hours a day going through emails and social media messages and replying to blog comments, doing all that. So that's like, I just eat my lunch real quickly and start that. And then I finish that. And then I'm doing Legion stuff in the afternoon. So I have to be pretty regimented with my time and with what I'm doing because I have I try to keep as many plates, spinning as possible, basically. I mean, I'm also wrapping up a workout app. I'm working on another book, and I'm not doing the app myself, but my input is needed every day on all this stuff.
Right.
So
you work a lot, basically.
Yeah,
you work a lot, and you're basically working 7 days a week, and it sounds like you're putting in minimum 10, 12 hours a day. Minimum.
Yeah.
Like mostly like 12 to maybe
14,
12 to 14 hours a day.
Yeah, and then I'll take Friday nights off to go to dinner with my wife, and so I do try to keep some sort of balance, but it just kind of comes down to sacrifice. I was even talking to my wife about this just recently because where there's just some friends of ours and even some kind of extended family that they talk about wanting to do things, but they're just not willing to sacrifice much of anything. They're not willing. They have to watch their 6 TV shows a week, and they have to spend all this time with their friends, and they have 2 birthday parties a week to go to, and they have the ball they want to go on the weekends.
Yeah,
they
March
have
Madness. They have
all the
football.
Yeah, and then so where does that leave time for all these other things you want to do? It's kind of and I understand. I mean, on the other hand, I know some people that live like that, and they're totally fine with that. Like, they're not trying to say that they want to, become multimillionaires or they want to become some great this, that, or whatever. They just want to have a nice, easy life, and they want to just work what they're doing, and they want to spend some time. And I understand that. So I think it just kind of comes down to the person, though. If you're going to say that you really want to do something, and I mean, I say that I really want to sell 1 million books. I think it'd be cool. I want to, I really want to get this. I want to do a lot with Legion, not just with supplements. We're going to do a whole apparel thing. There's a lot of things I want to do, and I try to, align my actions to that and not just talk. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And what I feel and what I'm just looking at here and listening to you is like you are really passionate about what you do. Like, you have your thing. Like, this is like your mission. Like, this is your purpose. Like, you're creating this fitness, this supplement brand, helping people live better through health. And I think that's the difference is like you love what you do, and other people who, like we talked about, are like they're like masking their work with like external things like television, like all these other things. Like I see that too, and like Dancing with the Stars, like I don't know, like I don't even know these shows that are on TV and like all these Netflix shows. and I can acknowledge that is entertaining, and I'm like, that looks great.
I
And,
watch one show at a time, and I watch it when I do my cardio. Like I go on the recumbent bike and I do my cardio. I do about an hour a week, and so I get through about an episode of a show a week because I love the art of storytelling. Like my original interest in writing was actually fiction, and I'm working on a fiction project. It's just something that's really my last thing of the night. Like my last 30, 45 minutes of work is on that. It's like my indulgence. So I can totally appreciate good movies and good TV shows and in good books, good novels, so I understand it for sure. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. What else am I going to do? I don't know. I guess I could read a book while I can, you already read a bunch anyway, but I could do that instead of watching something when I do my cardio, but I enjoy it. So of course there is a point of moderation. Like it's like you have to cut out anything or feel bad because you feel, because you enjoy a TV show. But like you were saying, it can just get.
Yeah.
Do you really need to watch like, what's the average? The average American TV watching
like 6
is
hours.
But per day, dude, it's absurd. I saw it a while ago, like 4 or 5 hours a day or something like that. Like that blows my mind. You're a zombie, like you're a vegetable. I don't even understand that.
So have you always been like this in your life? Like if we're to go like way back to high school and college days before you were diving full-fledged into fitness, like were you always like this, or was it when you found this thing you were like, oh, this is it for me?
That's a good question. I guess I always had that element of my personality. I grew up playing sports. I played a lot of ice hockey, and when I get into something, I really get into it. And so for instance, that's all I would do. I'd play roller hockey with my friends all the time. I'd go to every ice hockey camp I could go to. I'd play. I mean, that's all I would do. I just want to get really good at hockey. So I guess I've had that part of me where if I am going to give something a go, I'm going to like really give it a go. But it did take me a bit to find really the first thing that I found that I would, because what I was looking for in terms of work was something that I could do for the rest of my life, not just, and actually really enjoy. And a little bit fortunate to grow up, my dad is a successful entrepreneur. So I grew up, in a family with money, and I know that wasn't, just going for money wasn't my goal, because I know that, it's cool to have things and it's cool to live in a nice house and drive a nice car and do all that, but it's not very fulfilling. It's hollow, and it doesn't matter if you've worked for it or not worked for it. So I was looking more for something that was going to be personally fulfilling. Of course, I knew I needed to make my own money, but I couldn't do something if that's all it was just a way to make money so I could buy flashy stuff to show off or something like that, which that's what a lot of people, of course, are into. Just go scroll on Instagram for a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah. If a success quote with you by your car.
So that social media is just for, on a personal level is what 95% just humble bragging. That's like the actual point
it's
of it.
Selfies, it's success quotes, and it's someone who is doing well in their business and posting their results.
But it's not. It's more about though showing why your life is better than someone else's. That's really what.
Yeah, everyone always seems to be on vacation. I'm like, wow, like everyone is always like they're in Cabo, they're like in Hawaii. I'm like, they're always in like Europe. I'm like, wow, like everyone's on vacation all the time.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, you mad? That's you're supposed to be mad. You're supposed to wish you were them.
Yeah, that's basically the deal.
So for me, it was more looking for something that I was really going to enjoy doing for the sake of doing it, and that was writing for me. And I found it because I had worked in one of my dad's companies, and worked for just different business associates of his, and so I got exposed to different industries and didn't really find anything. I knew that wasn't for me. That wasn't for me. That was me. And then but writing was for me, and so that was like kind of the beginning where I was feeling that like, this is different. This is something that I just really enjoy doing. I enjoy the whole process. I enjoy researching. I enjoy the creation of it. So that's kind of where it started, and then eventually found my way into it. Kind of merged with fitness, which is another area that I've just been into for a long time, and I really enjoy. It's not so much about the looks of it, like the aesthetics or whatever. It's cool to look good and be muscular and be lean. But there's just so many other more important benefits. Well, I'd say at least equally important benefits.
Correction.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. Of course, the mirror is at least 50% of the whole thing.
It's cool though because you can really see your results. Like
yes.
you do the work and you're gonna get these results.
That's true, and that's a good lesson that it teaches you as well. That if you do. Yes, there is the work smart aspect of it in that you do need to know some basic things. You need to know what you're doing. But again, it doesn't take, you don't need to go to have a degree in exercise science to learn how to build muscle and lose fat and look good. So there's a bit of that education of it, learning what to do. And then you got to go do it. But you do it and you stay consistent. You show up every day, you put in the work and you get results. I mean, this has been said a million times, of course, but that's kind of a little metaphor for any area of life, really. I mean, it's you learn the basics, you learn the basic principles, you get good at just doing those basic things. You do that a lot, and there's the majority of your results in the end. You know what I mean? Yeah,
like mastery, and even on that topic of mastery, of really like diving into something like comes like mentors. Like what role have mentors played in your business or in your life? Or are you a lone soldier?
It's something I get asked frequently, and I wish I had a cool answer for it, but I don't. I mean, I read a lot, so that's my only like real good answer for that is I guess I find my mentors in the books that I read, and I'm pretty methodical with how I read. Like I read all digitally, and so majority of my reading is just for work, and then every once in a while I'll read a fiction book here and there just because I do appreciate it as an art. But so I'm highlighting, I'm making notes, and then I'm going back through and I'm taking all those highlights and notes out, and I save everything in my Google Drive account. And I kind of have a whole system worked out that helps me really retain what I've studied, not just read a book and then that was a good book and not remember nothing and just move on with my life. So I'd say that's probably where there's no individual. I thought it'd be great. I wish I had a Obi-Wan Kenobi or something, but my dad has been a good sounding board for business related things just because he's an experienced businessman and he's just smart and has good ideas. But even with that, a lot of what I've done so far has just been me, and I have my team, my staff that works with me, and I don't know. We just I guess we just make good decisions. We make more good decisions than bad decisions, and
so you're kind of like you're a Ronin. A Ronin is like it's like
sounds cool.
Yeah,
of course I've heard the word, but I couldn't give you a definition.
A Ronin is I believe it's Japanese for not having a master, and because you don't have a master, you are a master.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'll take that.
I'll take it. That's good. That's good.
A samurai who no longer serves the daimyo or feudal lord. I don't know what that.
Oh, you're doing the research. Hey, you actually said something really cool that you have a system for how you read your books. Like, what is that system? Because I'm all about reading books, and even like if I was to show you video, I probably have like 300 books stacked up behind me. What's that system look like?
Well, it's similar to like, are you familiar with Ryan Holiday?
Yeah. I've had him on the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've had him on my podcast too as well.
Cool guy. And he's really young too. I was like,
yeah. How old is he?
He's 26.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I thought he was older.
Yeah.
That's cool. So kind of similar to his system. He uses the old school kind of note card system where taking all of he's going through, making highlights, marginalia, writing stuff, whatever, and then pulling them out into note cards that are then categorized. And I do it digitally because it's just more efficient. It just is. Like I have, like, for instance, depending on the books that I'm reading, in some cases there's just interesting quotes on just things that I find interesting. They're not necessarily practical. It's just kind of like I like that idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'll pull stuff like that out. And again, I'm reading digitally, so I'm reading on I use Amazon's whole like Kindle ecosystem, I guess you could say, where I'm doing a lot of my reading on my phone actually, and I. Almost always, if an audiobook is available, and especially if it's whisper synced, I'm going to buy that because I listen to audiobooks whenever I can, when I'm driving, when I'm making food, when I'm walking my dogs. And I don't need to listen to the same music that I listen to every day when I'm working or in the gym. So that who cares about that?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to listen to radio shows and podcasts. I think are great, but I would rather listen to audiobooks. That's just me.
It's just more organized we both have podcasts. We're like, yeah, audiobooks for sure.
Yeah. And well, I mean, it's more just because I have a long reading list and it helps me get through. Like I can finish without doing that. I could get through maybe a book a week or a book every 10 days. But with just adding that podcast time or the audiobook time in, I can get through a book if it's like your average 250. I'm reading like a 900-page biography right now, so it's taking me a little bit longer. But I can get through, let's say, 250 pages every 5 to 6 days, I would say, depending on what's going on with my schedule. But that would be a normal week. And what's cool about with if it's whisper synced with Amazon is you can flip back and forth between the text itself and the audiobook. So like if I'm walking my dogs, I'm listening. I'm always just listening for things that catch my interest, or if I have ideas, or I like to read very actively like that. I'm not just passively. I don't know. I'm not just like trying to get through it as quickly as possible. I'm trying to have good ideas. You know what I mean? As I'm listening or reading. So if I hear something that I like, or even if there are words that people use that I like, or that's a good word, that's a good verb, it's a good noun, good modifier, whatever. I pause the audiobook, flip back to the text of it, which is tracking with where I'm at. Make my note. I have if I've used different highlighting colors for depending on what it is. If it's the word that I liked, it's going to be blue. If it's something that's just kind of interesting, it's going to be yellow. If it's something more going to be like practical, then it's another color. And so I'm doing that as I'm going through, and then I don't have to think. I can make any notes, I can save it all there, and it's all saved in the cloud, which is great. Which means like any book I've read, I can go back, I can download it right now to my Kindle app on my computer and review everything exactly as I laid it out when I read it. And I can do that very quickly too, because with the app on the computer, you can see a list of all your notes and highlights. So you can just jump one to the next. You don't even have to scroll through the book. You just jump from, you could review, do a full review of the key takeaways of a book for you in 10 minutes. So as I'm going through, I'm doing that. And then I'm done with the book and I've added to my list of books that I need to review. So I take some time every week and I go back to whatever book it is that I'm in the middle of reviewing, which I'm trying to remember. What do I have? Like I was just doing it this morning. I just had finished one and I started. Oh, there's a book I read recently called Diet Cults. I don't like the book name so much, but had some decent information in it. So I'm going through that and just kind of pulling out all my notes and all my things. So then I use Google Drive to organize everything. So like if it's just a quote that I find interesting, I have a folder for quotes, and I have them broken down just by kind of theme. Like I'm looking at it right now, art, creativity, and science. So in there goes all my quotes that I run into relating to those subjects. And if I really like a quote, I'll star it in Google Drive, because then I can filter by ones that are just starred. So I have a ton of quotes that are just interesting ideas, things that I like. And then for practical related things, I usually what I'm doing is making a folder specifically for that book, pulling out everything. And Google Drive, you can create documents. It's just very good for this kind of thing. So I make one document for each quote, or sometimes there are like 3 or 4 different things I'm pulling out that are all kind of talking about the same thing. So I'll group those into one document. So like in that Diet Cults book, there was in one chapter, he's talking about like paleo, let's say. I don't think I really made many notes on that because I don't really have much more to say, or I've already written about that and read a lot about that. But, or actually there was a section that I liked where he was talking about a lot of the health benefits of exercise versus diet and how important exercise is. So that's like maybe let's say 350 words worth of content that I've kind of chunked out from this chapter, throw that all into one document, and then I name the document something that is going to be, that allows me to scan over just the names and know what the content is. So I'm pulling something from what's in there, and that allows me to quickly review. Like if I'm going and looking for something, I can just look at the names of all my documents, and I know more or less the content of what's in there. In a lot of cases, I don't know. I have like strangely good memory with things that I read particularly. So I'll read a book 6 months ago and I'll be reviewing it and I'll just see the name of my document and then I'll remember oh, that was the quote. Yeah. Okay. So if it's more practical related things like, if I'm reading a business book or a marketing book or something like that, then after I pull out all my stuff, or I'll do it as I go. It kind of depends. I'm usually creating some sort of actionable list, some like, what do I want to do with this? And sometimes those ideas come to me when I'm reading and sometimes they come to me when I'm reviewing. I don't think about it too much when I'm reading. I kind of just like if things come to me, they come to me. And if they don't, then I'll think about it a bit more when I'm, doing my review. Make my list and then, do what I'm going to do. And I'm always kind of running a little bit behind on this because I'm just going from one book to the next. But I spend several hours a week kind of doing my reviews, and it keeps, I keep up, and that's kind of the whole OCD system.
Yeah, it's quite a bit. It sounds like a really good blog post. Kind of like to see pictures of how you're kind of organizing and tasking things.
Sure, actually, blog post.
That would be a really good blog post, like a long form blog post of how you consume all your content and organize it. Brian Tracy says like you can turning your car into a mobile university. Like we were touching on like how music is just like, okay, like after a while the song gets boring or it's like what's on the radio these days.
It's also, it's kind of pointless. Like it goes back to TV watching to me. I mean, if you're driving a couple hours a day, just listening to music a couple hours a day, is that really necessary? I mean, I like music for working and I like music for working out. And yes, I generally like music, but like what you're saying, I'd much rather learn stuff that's going to make me better at life than just listening to some song I've heard 100 times.
Yeah. Brian Tracy says 50 books in one field, like if it's business or health, 50 books in a year, he says that's the equivalent of getting a PhD in a specific field. So I mean that just shows like what you can do when you just like maximize the time that you spend doing regular stuff like driving, gym, stuff like that, when you could just be educating yourself.
Because my like random, I don't even know if I got this from someone else or got it from, I don't even know. But when I'm getting into something, something I'm going to be learning or whatever, my initial goal is to read like 20 to 25 books on it. And like writing, for instance, I don't even know how many. I've read so many writing books, but I was even recently. I haven't played in the last 6 weeks or so because I've been working. I was playing some golf. I was taking like Sunday afternoons. Like I wake up early on Sundays. I wake up at my normal like 6:30 time or 6:15, and then I start. I just get to work early, so I'd like do that. Finish my article maybe by 12, play golf for the afternoon, and then do dinner and get back to work. But so when I was getting into golf, it's just the same thing. So I think I read about 15 books on golf and more technical stuff because I wanted to learn the real mechanics of the golf swing and understand it. The biomechanics. I mean, understand it conceptually, really what I'm supposed to be doing with all the, how the body needs to coordinate to produce that movement. But that's just kind of my standard thing. When people ask me about getting, acquiring skills or how did I learn this or that, is read 25 books on a subject as your first milestone, plow through that as quickly as you can, use audiobooks, use everything I'm talking about, like try to get through 2 books a week, make that your priority. And by the end of that, you're going to be in a really good position. Of course, you can start doing along the way. You don't have to read 25 books and then finally do something. But you do that and you start getting into doing this as well and start actually applying some of what you're learning in those books. That alone is going to put you so far ahead of the majority of your competition, really, probably, because I don't know anybody that reads that does that. I know there are those people out there for sure. I just don't personally have any day-to-day interaction with anybody that does.
I think that's a huge epiphany for anyone to realize. It's like, hey, if I want to learn something, I can just go and access the best experts in the world on this subject and just get their entire life lessons.
$10 a book.
Yeah, you can get their entire life lessons, and you can just literally, I know it takes a lot longer, but like the Matrix, install that into your brain, and then from there, move forward, and it's you're in a much better position, whether that's in fitness, sales, business, relationships, whatever it is. The information's out there.
Golf, anything, it doesn't matter.
That's a huge epiphany for, I think, any guy to just, or anybody in general, to just understand that skill is out there. Like you can learn anything if you just commit to it, like you said.
Yeah, totally. And I enjoy reading. There's a lot of things that I would also read. Like I even from my reading, I have a list. Like I rotate. So I'm going to read a business or marketing book. I kind of decide in the moment, because that's an area. In my opinion, if you're in business, entrepreneur, and you can never be good enough at marketing at sales. Never. You can never know enough. You can never it's just having those skills, being a very good marketer and being a very good salesperson. Nothing pays dividends like that. You can read all the business books you want inside of organizing things and strategy and stuff like that. If you're not a good marketer and salesperson, you're not going to do well. And even if you have great products, I mean, that's like, it's just cliche to have, the person that has the great product but doesn't know how to sell it kind of thing.
Right.
And it's just the kind of par for the course in terms of like the arts, where you have writers, take that for just like people like me that are quite good, regardless of whatever it is they're writing. It could be fiction, it could be nonfiction, whatever, but they don't know how to market and sell their stuff, or they don't want to. They just want to, they just want to do the creative, and they don't want to do anything else. So I'll read a business or marketing book, and then next on my list is going to be either a book on art and creativity in general or writing. I kind of decide again, like if the last time I read a book on writing, I'll probably pick an art and creativity book, and vice versa. And then my next book, when I finish that, will be either a fiction book or a book that is just going to be like, I just written down, be smarter, like I don't know, guns, germs, and steel, something like that. Where I'm probably mastery. Well, mastery actually is more application, but there's a book. There's just things out there. They're just interesting. Like I just like to know things, but I'm not going to really be able to do anything with it probably. Or if I am, I have to get real creative on how I'm going to fit that into my my life basically, but it's cool to know stuff kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to read a health or fitness book after that. And then I'm going to read a biography or a history book. And then I just rotate through that. So those are and I'm trying to get through, that's like my month. I'm trying to get through 5 books a month. And so I try to rotate through that cycle every month. And that's kind of my, that's even how I try to be, even because it's just like my general approach and what's kind of worked well for me is the only way for me when I have all these things that I want to do, if I don't get really organized about it in terms of schedule, in terms of just being like this about it, it's too hard to keep everything in my head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to get it out. You got to organize it and then implement and like create some sort of action plan or do something with that content.
And then just make it a habit. And now like, to people listening, maybe my life sounds absurd and I sound like a robot. That's my friends joke that I'm a robot. They're like, you're just a robot. You're not even a human, dude. Because I sleep maybe 5 or 6 hours a night. I just don't need more sleep than that. I physically don't even sleep more than that. And, all I do is work, and every little aspect, I eat the same foods every day, and sometimes I change them. But
do you wear the same clothes?
In many days I do. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Well, it's like the same. It's 5 of the same shirt that I'm not wearing the same exact clothes every day because I'm working out in them. But I own I'm wearing, I have the shirts that are just my company. It has my logo on it. So I have a bunch of those shirts. I don't care. I just grab it and go. It's just looking like the same dude every day.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like Steve Jobs wore the same outfit to work every day. It's just like that simple minimalist kind of mentality. It's like, you're just going to go to work. Like, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to go sit in a chair. Yeah, you're going to sit in a chair and say hi to a few people on the way up. But
exactly. Like, I'm all for looking good. And, I dress up now and then if I have a reason to. But on a day-to-day basis, I don't give a shit. I just want to be comfortable.
All right. I keep getting these emails from guys, or even when I'm doing some strategy calls or coaching, where guys are very excited about working out, very excited about getting back in shape and diet, and they go all in. And then after maybe a month or so, it just starts fizzling out. What kind of advice do you have for guys on how to stay consistent with going into the gym and diet?
Well, I mean, obviously there are a lot of reasons why there are a lot of potential causes for that. But in my experience, just working with a lot of people, I would say that one of the reasons, like common reasons for that, is unreal expectations. So guys getting into, and girls as well, getting into fitness, maybe they saw some transformation on the internet that really impressed them, which just be very skeptical of what you see on the internet. You know, and I have a lot of transformations on my website, and they're a bit more. They're not just pictures. Like, these are people and they kind of tell their story and stuff. But and I have a lot by now, and you know, but again, even if you were to first see my stuff, I'd say be skeptical of any of that, especially if it just looks too good to be true. Just a lot of deceitful practices in this space, obviously, and a lot of people, like, with the amount of money that people are willing to spend on getting fit, and with how big of a problem it is for people that aren't, and when they want to be, you know, you have people that are going to take advantage of that. And what you see with guys, what's very prevalent is steroids as well. So you're going to see a guy that, you know, naturally, if you're brand new to weightlifting, if you gain 20 pounds of muscle in your first year, that's really, really good. If you're a guy, if you're a girl, it's about half that. If you gain 15 pounds in year one, that's also really good. 20 is like exceptionally good. 15 is like solid. 10 as a guy is not bad. You could have done probably a little bit better, but it's still not bad. And so when you're thinking with those numbers, though, I mean, that's not. If you're just a normal looking guy, let's say, gaining 10 pounds of muscle or 15 pounds of muscle, that's noticeable, but that's not internet transformation status yet. You know what I mean? In terms of what we see in these big, you know, $100,000 prize giveaway type things, where you're taking guys that were in really good shape at one point, and then they gained a bunch of weight to look as bad as possible, and then now they're in 3 months they're gonna, you know, also use different drugs to, like, not just steroids, but also fat loss drugs and things, to just get completely shredded in 3 months and be massive. And you see things like that,
yeah,
and just know what you're looking at. So, the truth is, you can gain, obviously, you can lose a lot more fat than you can gain muscle in a year. If you are starting very overweight, you should have no problem losing probably about 30 to 50 pounds of fat in your first year. That'd be both men and women. But if you're starting out, you know, like me, when I started weightlifting, I'm 6'2", and I kind of grew fast and early. So I've been at least 6 foot since I was, 16. And I started weightlifting and I was like 155 pounds. I wasn't naturally very muscular at all. I was
very lanky kind of body type.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't clumsy because I grew up playing sports, so I wasn't super scrawny, and I wasn't like a super awkward dude, but I wasn't muscular at all. I was just a normal looking guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was not naturally muscular. I was just naturally kind of, you know, maybe 11-12% body fat, and I don't know, that's it. So and now I'm about 190 pounds, and I hang out around 8% body fat, probably just be my normal, if I'm not really, you know, I've tried to maintain leaner, and it's doable, but it's just, I can't eat as much food as I like to eat, and this just seems to be my body's kind of sweet spot. But anyway, so if you're starting off in the gym and with that mentality of like you're looking at this transformation and that's what you expect, you're setting yourself up for failure. And really, it should be looked at as a long-term. It's not some short-term thing that you're just, you know, trying to gain as much muscle as quickly as possible. But it's much better to get into the mentality of committing to the long haul, basically. And then, though, so that's one thing, is just having realistic expectations that if you want to go from normal guy, and normal could be on the skinny side or even the overweight side, you want to look fit, you want to have an impressive physique. As a guy, that's going to take 3 years, probably, at least. Like, if you want to be muscular and lean, and you want to have people be like, damn, that dude looks really good, that's going to take a few years. It's not a few months. And if you're a girl, I would say you can achieve that wow effect faster, because girls don't need to gain as much muscle as guys do to really achieve that. They usually just need to get lean and have enough muscle to still have curves when they're lean, and that's maybe a year. So, and that's also, I'm speaking, those are like real, you know, I've worked with a lot of people, and I would say as a guy, just as a kind of a note on what I was saying before, in 1 year, you can definitely improve your body a lot, and it's an impressive transformation. And I've worked with a lot of guys that are actually super happy with their bodies after 1 year. But in almost all cases, if they started out brand new to weightlifting, they don't feel like they're done yet. Like they're really encouraged and they're really motivated and they're really happy with what they've done. But they know that to get to that next level, it's going to take a bit more work. And then there's, of course, just wasting time with shitty programs that don't work well. And then that's the most demotivating thing that I see that, with what people run into is just no results. And then you're just like, well, what am I doing? Why do I even show up every day? And there's just so much bad advice out there in terms of both diet and training. And when you combine bad diet advice with bad training advice, now you're really, you're not going to do well. In the beginning, for the first month or maybe 2 months, you're going to notice some improvements if you're doing anything even remotely right because of the newbie gains type of, it sounds completely unscientific, but it actually, when you're new to weightlifting, your body responds very, very well to it, even if you're doing a lot of things wrong, even if you're just training in high rep ranges only and you're not doing any compound movements, you're just doing a bunch of isolation work and a bunch of exercises and sitting in the gym for hours every day, just kind of doing everything wrong, you're still going to make progress in the beginning. But that's not going to last very long. Eventually you're going to get stuck, and then that's when the problems begin. So starting with a good program really I think takes care of a lot of that, because then you actually do make progress. And then, you can, when you see your body changing in the mirror, when you're getting stronger in the gym, every week or two, you're moving up in reps, you're moving up in weight, and that's motivating. And, I really rarely run into people that have motivation issues that are in that position, that if they're making progress, they're pumped, especially if they've tried things before it didn't work well. So
that seems to be kind of a key thing, is to start seeing results, and that starts building momentum. And once you have that momentum, it's just like an endless cycle: more results, more momentum, more results, more momentum.
It's that positive feedback loop.
Good. I think that's just a common thing that I've been getting, and I'm glad that we addressed that here on the show. So guys, to get that type of right diet and the right type of workout, Bigger, Leaner, Stronger, The Simple Science of Building the Ultimate Male Body. The second edition just came out in 2015. So just search Michael Matthews on Amazon, or just Bigger, Leaner, Stronger. It's a big yellow book. Sold over 100,000 copies. It's a #1 bestseller. Highly recommend that to get the diet and the workout regimens and the motivation to continue.
You can head over to muscleforlife.com. That's my website, where I've written somewhere around 1 million words, that it's all free, and I don't hold anything back either. There's content in my books that you won't find on the website because it's more in the context of the books, but if you want to get a taste for my work and what I'm all about, you can just head over to Muscle for Life, just spelled out, muscleforlife.com. And I have a lot of people that they'll come over to the website, they'll read my stuff, they'll read some stuff on diet, they'll read some stuff on training, and they'll go do that for a couple months, and then come back and be like, even talk about results there, and be like, I'm going to buy your book now because I just read a few articles, and doing that, I've already seen more results than in the last 3 months than I have in the last 3 years. So you obviously know something. You know what I mean?
Got it. This is good. All right, guys, check out muscleforlife.com. Mike, it's been great having you on the show, just kind of diving into you and how you learn and talking about all these different subjects about mastery. It's been good having you on.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It's a change of pace, something different to talk about, which is nice too.
Thank you for listening to the Knowledge for Men podcast. Hundreds of interviews and 1 million downloads later, we're continuing to build an international movement, and we've just started. So if you enjoyed this episode, go ahead and leave a review in iTunes. It really helps to grow the podcast. Guys, 2015 is the official year of living with purpose, where every day you do only the things that matter to you. You wake up, live with purpose, and take massive action towards the life you want. Check out kfmfree.com to get free tools I've created to help you crush life. Again, that's kfmfree.com. This is your host, Andrew Fairby, and I'll see you in the next episode.